Hi, this is Jo and welcome to my Inspired Action Minisode series. These episodes are meant to help you think about your business in a new way and to take inspired action. Join me as I walk around my London neighbourhood and I discuss the most asked questions I get as a business coach. Let's dive in. Welcome to Action Taker Tribe. I'm Jo Ingram and today is my birthday. Not only is it my birthday, but it also marks the first anniversary of the Action Taker Tribe podcast. So it's a particularly meaningful episode for me today, and I'm so glad you're here. The last year has been an absolute roller coaster for me. And I bet it has been the same for you, because if you're in the online world, as I'm sure you are, building your business, it's been an incredible time for growth, for pivoting, for aligning with business success, for working out what isn't working, and for finding out what is. And for me, that has been magnified to enormous proportions in the last year. I look back at what I have achieved and what I have done, and I blew my own socks off just realizing how much I had accomplished in a year. And yet, I had also felt like I hadn't done enough. Where do we get off treating ourselves like we're not good enough, even when we are doing amazing things in the world? Too often we judge ourselves with specific barometers, targets, goals, particularly financial, which is very, very important, but also fail to recognize the mega achievements that we're making daily in order to learn new skills, make new connections, push ourselves outside of our comfort zone, overcome our I'm not good enough fears, to actually break through into a new industry in order to passionately help other people make transformations too. And I salute you in your progress. As high achieving women, we too often just don't give ourselves credit. And of course, this has its own blocks and barriers too, because when we're not looking for the positive, we're not looking for where we are achieving, we're very much focused in a low vibe energy, thinking I can't do it and this wasn't good enough, which of course for all law of attraction devotees out there just is the death knell of magnetizing what you want in this life. So for me, after a whole year, now on my birthday, it's just a beautiful opportunity for me to thank myself and be in full appreciation of the things that I have achieved. And one of the things that has been so important to me is this podcast. Starting it a year ago with just a view that I really wanted a podcast, and yet not really knowing what direction I was going to take, I took the leap. I just set an intention, I did it messy, and off I went. And here I am a year later, still standing in my daughter's closet right now, holding my iPhone up and simply recording this episode. I've never gone high tech on it, although I'm not saying I won't in the future, but I'm never going to let tech be a barrier to just getting my message out there. Likewise, more often recently, I've just been recording episodes as I feel the inspiration come through. Now, a lot of times that's actually when I'm doing my morning walk in the woods. And I know, and I do apologize that sometimes the sound quality isn't quite as good as I would like it to be. I am a perfectionist. My hand is up, perfectionist over here. And sometimes when I hear that there's some background noise or my voice isn't very clear, I think, is that the kind of quality that I really want to be putting out in the world? Coming from corporate, it's no surprise that I had imbued these sorts of distractions because I wasn't really allowed the latitude to kind of just do it messy. And consequently, people don't move as fast in corporate as they can do in entrepreneurship. And that's partly why I love building my own business. There's no limits to how long things can take you. It's all about the energy and spirit in which you bring them and how hard you choose to make it, right? So I simply chose to make podcasting easy. I choose to record my episodes when the inspiration strikes, which means sometimes I've batched a whole bunch and other times I'm wondering what on earth I'm going to be putting out tomorrow. I've increased how regularly I share my episodes, and now they're twice a week for season 2. And I also really love to keep them short. The feedback that I've had from you is that short episodes work well, and that's how I feel as well. Personally, when I see a podcast and it tells me it's an hour long, I just tune right out, even if the content looks really interesting. I just find that as a self-confessed busy person, I have to fit podcasts and podcasting around my schedule. So short and sweet it is for me. But I've also evolved things quite a lot over the last year. When I first launched my podcast, I basically was in a position where I brought the skills that I had in that moment to my business. Coming out of 20 years corporate and being a natural action taker and high achiever, I knew that I could help other new entrepreneurs to get accountability and momentum in their businesses, to simply take action. And that is where I started. I started to coach people on productivity and accountability, and I launched my business that way. But over the last year, I have evolved. When I fell into incredible burnout last spring, I had to take a hard look at where I was going in my business. And I realized I was pushing and striving far too much. I was seeking to prove myself to anyone and everyone, and most of all myself. But what I did along the way was actually create a lot of pressure, which led to burnout. I was absolutely exhausted. I put myself through a grueling run of 17-hour work days in a run up to a launch last spring. I wasn't spending time with my family. I wasn't spending time on my self-care. And by the end of it, I was literally on my knees. I had to take a cold, hard look at what I was doing to myself and question my mindset and my spirituality more than ever before. I realized that I'd been in deep, wounded masculine, a sort of action-taking, over-proving vibe that just led to constant exhaustion due to the pressure that I was putting on myself. And so I turned to spirituality and self-educated myself at a speed and frenzy that I have never done before. I dived into, I would guess, probably over 100 books in the last 6 months. I dived into more spiritual podcasts. I just became a massive consumer of knowledge about how I really wanted to dive into the energy side of it. I'd already got a certification as a pranic healer, so I was no stranger to energy in general. But I realized that I had stopped short of actually bringing it into my business. And this missing ingredient, this important part of me, was what my business needed. And this is what I teach others too. It's about bringing the you into your business. It's about really looking at all aspects of who you are and bringing an authentic and aligned business that actually lights you up, as well as, of course, making money and impact. But too many people forget the lighting you up part, and I needed to be reignited. I'd exhausted myself doing what I thought I knew, but the truth was that from my heart, it was all about the energy and alignment, and that's what I wanted to bring to myself. I spent the best part of 6 months going much slower. I took long walks in the woods. I learned how to meditate. I got into journaling, and I got into generally taking things slower and treating myself with kindness. I love grounding. I love dancing. I love just being a lot slower. Now, I just want to be clear on this. I've digressed just for a second. I don't find it easy. I'm not a natural earth mother who finds the whole slowing down immediately pleasurable. I had to condition myself to this stuff. And it took me 6 months to do it. And what I found at the end of those 6 months was 2 things. First of all, the divine feminine had come through me, and I was finally feeling myself. I was starting to feel worthy and feeling great. However, the wounded feminine side came out too, which was a lack of action and motivation. I was so deep in learning how to flow and use my intuition that my business was actually not moving in any direction fast. And I started to realize that I wanted to pick up the pace a bit more, wanted to be a little bit more punchy, a bit more drive and more action taking. And have learned really that it's that beautiful balance between masculine and feminine that allows us to really soar. It's about being in the divine masculine and the divine feminine, being able to use your intuition and take action. And as I came out of this wounded feminine and started to be in my power, I realized too that actually what I have to give and how I want to serve is to help other women who are more like me, who really understand when I talk about the challenges of being a high achieving woman and that pushing energy, striving, feeling like you have to work hard for everything and struggle, even though you also feel in your heart that you will always succeed because you always have. Trouble is, we always lean back on that hard work and pushing, striving energy when really we want to feel the flow and use our intuition. Helping coaches who want to build aligned businesses where you really magnetize your soul clients is where my mission fully lies. And that's something that I have opened my heart to literally over the last month or two, as I'm starting to build my next stage and up level into some sort of quantum shift for next year. And I realized that I love all this light language, and I love allowing my intuition and energy to really flow through me. So as I now come to my birthday again and the 1-year anniversary of my podcast, I'm just so in alignment with who I am and who I want to help and where I want my business to go. And of course, what happens when we get in alignment? Our soul clients are magnetized. And I found as I've been more authentic in my messaging and clearer about what I have to say, so too are my tribe leaning towards me. If this is resonating with you, then we need to work together. If you're not sure what that looks like, you can book a breakthrough call with me. Just drop into the show notes and you'll find the link. But I also got such a good response to my Time to Rise intensive when I promoted it for Black Friday that I'm going to offer it again in honor of my 47th birthday today. And I'm going to drop that in the show notes too. My Time to Rise intensives are focused on embedding your confidence to own your experience and authority, get you clarity on who your soul clients are, and find the aspects of your experience, knowledge, and skills that get you excited with juicy vibes to teach your clients. And of course, designing soul-aligned offers which magnetize your soul clients. So if you're ready to rise to your next level, drop into the show notes to find out more about my Time to Rise intensive and how you can book with me. And so in honor of my birthday, I am going for a reflexology session, which I cannot wait for. And the rest of the day, I'm taking my eldest daughter, Kitty, on a tour of a university campus. Yep, my eldest is off to college next year. And right now we are picking the one that will work so well for her. She's going to be a nurse, my Kitty. I'm feeling so grateful and blessed. And to you today, I would love to send happy vibes for an awesome, inspiring action week. Take care. Bye now.